Why, hello there, and welcome to Scottish1991, number 2 recorded battle. I am in command of the British, while my opponent, LaCarteBlanche, is in command of the French. My army is consisted of 4 foot units and 2 Highland foot over there. And then in the front of my army is 3 units of rifles, long-range skirmishers, and my reserves in the back are 4 units of fencibles with a unit of foot's guard. On my right flank I have 2 units of dragoons, and on my left flank I have another 2 units of dragoons. My general's there in the back just chilling. Alright, let's take a look at my opponent's army over here. My opponent has 3 or 4 units of volunteers, the skirmishers in front of his army. He's got 6 units of fusiliers and a unit of old guard in the front. They're the elite unit of foot infantry. And then on his right flank he has 2 units of the chevalier and 2 on his left as well. They're elite horse units. He brought his historical general, and then he has a howitzer and an experimental howitzer. So those are pretty bad babies. So we start off quite a ways apart from each other, so we're just making our steady way up against each other. And then since it took like 5 minutes, I cut down the time. So at this point, on my right flank, he charged my 2 dragoon units with his elite cav. So they're going to be battling it out right here. And so they charged really quick and managed to wipe out an entire unit, make them flee. So I brought my dragoons from my left flank over to my right to help the one unit that was still there. And by this time, both of our skirmishers managed to get in front of each other and be in range, so they just start firing at each other. Or mine do, at least. I don't know about his. Mine have a longer range. And he's just firing his mortars at me. Nothing really hitting right now. Hopefully this won't. And by this time I move my reserves over to my right flank to try and stop the advancing cavalry. But as you can see, I didn't get him there in time, so by the time my cav went through my ranks, his cav also came and attacked mine, so I should be able to hold him, but it would have been a lot easier if they had gotten in position. And here comes another one of his cav. So yeah, we're still exchanging fire, my skirmishers, and I think my line has range of them now too, so double the firepower. And so once one of his cav on my right flank retreats, I have my cav pursue and my line reform. But I noticed that he has 3 units of cav and I have 2, so I decide that's a bad idea and I decide to come back. So on my left flank here, I managed to have 2 of my foot units come around so as to flank the unit of his skirmishers up here. Usually what happens when a unit's flanked, they're more easily to rout. My mortar's just taking pot shots. Loaded. And what would have been a good idea for him is if he had moved his line up to get in range, he would have been able to pour more fire into my skirmishers. So that might have been a good idea. And so now 2 of his skirmishers are routing, and so he only has 1 left. And he decides to pull them back, but I think by the time he gets there, they rout. So I decide to push my guys up forward. And he does too. And here is Old Guard, his elite unit here. I zoomed on them because I wanted to see them fire, but I did not know that they were not in range, so they're just standing here looking pretty, you know? Old Guard, but these guys are firing, so then I move my reserves up from my right all the way up to my right again, so I'm trying to do the same strategy to be able to pour fire into this cav while they attack my guys. So I do manage to put in a couple shots here. Probably hitting my guys as well, so. And here my mortars firing, causing more distress, and I managed to take out his general unit with the mortar. And so that he flees, so this is lowering the morale now, so you'll see a couple more units are running. And so he decides to charge his cav into my line, but they're gonna rout soon because my guys have way more guys than he does. And I decide to charge my 1 unit that's left of my dragoons into his right flank. And then I decide to push my reserves up forward to outflank his left flank, my right, and pour more fire into it. And by this time, my opponent decides to call it quits. So it was a victory for me, and thanks to my opponent.